the Career Evangelist Podcast, episode number 221. Hello, amazing TCE community. Welcome to today's episode of the Career Evangelist Podcast, and I'm going to be talking about the power of feedback. Feedback is a gift, it's a tool for growth, and it's an essential part of our personal and professional development. If you want to grow in your personal and professional life, you've got to learn how to embrace the gift of feedback. And that's why today I'll be talking about the importance of feedback. I'll give you tips on how to effectively use the power of feedback for your growth. This is episode 221 of the Career Evangelist Podcast, and I'm your host, Bola Alabi. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet to this show, please hit the subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with our community. Now let's go to the show. Why does it matter to give feedback anyway? I can hear you ask that question. And my response is this: feedback is a gift. I'll give you a little bit of a story so that we can have a background or about why I'm sharing this episode today. A while ago, I had an issue with my internet at home. And of course, I called my provider. The customer service agent on that call did not only fix the problem, but he also asked me for a review. This got me thinking. You know what I was thinking? Would he have asked for a review if he hadn't solved the issue? No, he wouldn't. So in my opinion, reviews are a form of feedback to let the service provider know that they've helped us. That was what I did with this customer service agent. Now, imagine this scenario. You've been battling a frustrating internet connection for days, slow loading times, buffering videos, and a constant dropout that is totally driving you nuts. Finally, you connect with a customer service agent who patiently listens to your troubles. And after some troubleshooting, rebooting, plugging, and uploading, this guy magically bring your internet back to life. How would you feel? I'm sure you will be relieved. And of course, if you were like me, you'll be happy to leave them a positive review, praising their attentiveness, communication skills, and even their friendly conversation that made the ordeal stressful. That positive review is a form of feedback. It's a way to acknowledge the impact that this guy had on you, on your experience. Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Your reviews, that's exactly what it is. It acknowledged the positive contribution that they made to your day. And that was my experience. Now, TCE community, I want you to think of yourself as that customer service agent. And now in your professional world, every day you are bombarded with tasks, deadlines, and expectations. Wouldn't you appreciate a little recognition for going the extra mile for a colleague or a client? Wouldn't you want to know how you can improve your approach or identify areas where you can excel? That's what feedback is all about, to give you the details of what you need to do to continue to excel, to continue to get better at your job. Feedback, like that heartfelt review that I gave that customer service agent, is a gift. It is a chance to learn, to grow, and to become the best version of yourself, both professionally and personally. Just like Bill Gates once said, your most unhappy customers, they are your greatest source of learning. How? They give you feedback. And sometimes some feedback, they may even be critical. They may criticize you. But guess what? Those criticism can illuminate areas where you can excel, where you can get better. To me, feedback is a catalyst for engagement, for motivation, and for improvement in the workplace because it provides clarity on performance and expectations and areas of growth. Everyone wants recognition for their hard work, no doubt about that. And feedback can be a way to provide that acknowledgement. Let's say a colleague of yours helped you somehow at work. How about giving him or her a shout out? Guess what? If you do that regularly, you are going to encourage this colleague to continue to show up in their best self. And that's why today's episode is critical, especially for working professional. We all need people who will give us feedback, and that's how we can improve. So real quick, let's quickly talk about the benefits of feedback. And I'm going to share three. The first one is that it can help us to improve our skills and performance. Constructive feedback, it helps individual to identify areas for improvement and it enhances their skills and performance. That's just the fact. The second one is that feedback can help us to build trust and relationship because open and honest communication through feedback, it can foster trust and strengthens relationship within team and organizations. Because, for example, let's say your boss, your manager in the office comes to you and give you a positive or even negative feedback about your performance and areas where you need to improve. Guess what? You begin to learn to trust him. If you actually go back and do whatever you need to improve on those areas. And the third one, feedback can help us to demonstrate a growth mindset because by embracing feedback, it shows our willingness to learn and to grow. And that reflects a growth mindset. Now, giving feedback. If you are going to give a feedback to someone, how do you do it effectively? I guess that's what I want to establish in this episode. Giving feedback is an art that, when done correctly, can inspire growth. It can foster collaboration and it can help to build trust within teams and organizations. And I'm going to share 5 quick tips. You know me, I love sharing tips. 5 quick tips to help you learn how to give feedback effectively. Are you ready for this? Okay, I can hear you say yes, let's go. So the number one thing that you've got to do is to understand the purpose of your feedback. Before you provide any feedback, you've got to be clear about your objective. So ask yourself this question. Are you going to commend someone for a job well done, or you want to suggest areas of improvement? Both are feedbacks. So understanding the purpose of your feedback will help you to deliver it more effectively. So the first thing, understand the purpose of the feedback. The number two thing is that you have to be objective. And what do I mean by this? You've got to focus on specific areas that you want this person to either get this positive rave or the negative improvement suggestion. So you should avoid broad generalization and just focus on specific behaviors or actions. For example, instead of saying, you are always late to meetings, wow, you could say, I've noticed that you've been late to the last 3 meetings. There is a whole lot of difference in those two statements. You've always been late. That's critical. That's you exaggerating. And that's not always true. So you've got to be objective. And you have to focus on the behavior or action, not the person. You don't want the person to feel bad or to feel less of themselves. So you should avoid phrases like, you always or you never. Instead, you should stick to what you observed. Maybe during a brainstorming section and at the workplace, maybe you noticed a few ideas that weren't fully explored. Perhaps you can just say next time we could come up with more time for individuals to contribute their ideas. That's excellent. The recipient will know and understand precisely what they need to do the next time around. Because see, the purpose of the feedback is to either help the person to continue to do what they are doing or to stop what they've been doing. It's that simple. So number 3, let's go to the third one. You've got to be specific. You should avoid vague comment like, good job, or you need improvement. That's not helping anyone. Instead, you should pinpoint specific actions or behaviors. For example, you can say, I loved how you used data visualization in your presentation. It made the complex information clear and easy to understand. Wow, that's fantastic. You should provide concrete examples. You should clearly state what was done well or what needs improvement and back it up with specific examples. Because this is the way to help the recipient understand exactly what you are referring to and how they can improve. You got it? Okay, let's go to the fourth one. Be respectful and empathetic. Now, we need to be respectful of others as we approach this topic of feedback. You should get into the conversation with empathy and respect. Use I statements to express your observations and feelings and avoid accusatory language. Please, it's not gonna go well with most people if they feel disrespected. They wouldn't take that feedback. Okay? The fifth one, you should have a solution. That's the finishing touch. Don't just pinpoint people's shortcoming. Provide suggestions for improvement. What can they do better? This empowers the recipient to take action. For example, you can say, I notice you've been struggling with meeting deadlines. How about you take some time management training or course to help you so that you can get better? Guess what? You suggested something to this individual, and it's left to them to take the necessary steps to go find ways to improve. That's the power of feedback. It's a gift. Now I have a bonus tip for you. Feedback, it has to be timely. Provide feedback promptly. Gone are the days when people have to wait till the end of the year, that's during the performance appraisal period, to learn how they did during the year. That's not productive. Feedback is most effective when provided soon after the event or situation. This allows the recipient to recall the details and they can take immediate action to address the feedback. A brief story here. I once had a manager that waited till the end of the year during my performance review to give me feedback on something I should have done during a design review, but I did not do it. How was that helpful to me? He waited till the end of the year. Thank you, Mr. Manager. That was too much too late. One more point to make, as if you want your feedback to be highly effective and helpful. This is the technique that I learned, and I think this is very, very good. They call it the sandwich method. And it's simple. You start with a positive statement, then you lace it with a constructive criticism, and end with another positive statement. This helps to soften the blow and make the feedback more palatable to the recipient. For example, you can say, great job on completing the project on time. Positive. I noticed that you struggle with X, maybe certain things during the presentation. Criticism, but it's specific. Now, here's the improvement. Suggestion. Have you considered trying Y so that you can improve? That's suggestion for improvement. And finally, keep up the good work. That's awesome. The recipient will be willing to embrace the feedback that you've just provided. Now, that's all I have if you are going to be giving feedback to people. The next, on the other side, is for feedback recipients. Now, if you are on the receiving end, taking feedback can be challenging, but it's essential for personal and professional growth. And honestly, with the right approach, it can be a transformative experience. And I also have 5 quick tips to help you so that you can receive feedback effectively. So number 1, active listening. You've got to pay attention and listen intently to both verbal and non-verbal communication. You pay close attention. You ask clarifying questions. Let's say you are in doubt of anything they've said. Ask clarifying questions so that you know exactly what it means, so that you know exactly where you need to improve. And sometimes it's always good to paraphrase what you hear so that you can demonstrate your understanding. You can ask, did you say this? And the other person will confirm whether or not that's what they meant. So active listening is essential if you are going to be a good recipient of feedback. Number 2, be open-minded. You should approach the feedback with open mind, even if it's challenging to hear. Try to see things from the other person's perspective. Don't go there being defensive. It's not going to help. You should be open-minded. Listen to them. Number 3, identify the key takeaways. Don't let the feedback overwhelm you. Instead, you should break it down into core elements. What are the recurring themes or areas of improvement? Has someone else giving you that specific type of feedback before? If it's becoming a pattern, you need to look inward. Maybe there's something you are doing that you need to improve on. And I want you to focus on the big picture, not every tiny details. The purpose, again, of feedback is to help you to improve. Number 4, you need to craft an action plan. You know, the purpose of feedback, like I said multiple times now, is to help you to improve. Now, The ball is in your court. You need to develop a plan to address the feedback. And you must include specific actions, deadlines, and resources needed to make the necessary improvements. Yeah, when do you want to improve? What do you need to do in order to improve? That's very important. So develop a plan of action. Number five, the last but not the least, follow up and follow through. Don't let the feedback just stay there uh, like a forgotten flower. Check back with the person who provided the feedback to share your progress and ask for further guidance. This demonstrates your commitment to growth and it creates a positive feedback loop. And it shows that you've accepted the feedback as a gift. Now, a couple of things as I wrap up today. I want you to embrace feedback as an opportunity for growth. Feedback helps you to learn, grow, and improve. Number two, don't be defensive. And three, you should look inward and identify patterns. So what should you do after receiving a feedback? The first thing, always ask for clarification. If you are unsure about any aspect of the feedback, don't hesitate to ask for clarification. This shows that you are engaged and you are receptive and you are committed to understanding and implementing the feedback. The second thing, express gratitude. Yes, I know it may be difficult, but you should thank the person for their feedback. I think they have your genuine interest. That's why they gave you that feedback, whether positive or negative. Expressing gratitude shows that you value their input and it encourages open communication in the future. Finally, feedback is a valuable resource that can help us grow, improve, and excel in our personal and professional lives. By giving and receiving feedback effectively, we can enhance our skills, we can build trust, and we can foster a culture of continuous improvement. Ken Blanchard said, feedback is a breakfast of champions. I couldn't agree more. Feedback isn't a one-time renovation project. It's an ongoing process of construction and refinement. By consistently giving and receiving feedback with a growth mindset, you build a professional foundation that's both resilient and adaptable. You become an invaluable asset to your team, a trusted colleague, and a master of your craft. That's what you want to be. So, my friends, embrace the power of feedback and start building the very best version of yourself, brick by brick. So, I would also like to get some feedback from you. What do you think about this episode? If you like it, please hit me with a 5-star rating. If you don't like it, please let me know what I can do better next time because I also want to improve. And that's where I'm signing off today. It's Bola Alabi, your career evangelist. Thank you for listening.